The world is like one big candy store. And like a kid whose negligent father drops them off at the mall while he goes to hit on the server at Chili's across the street, you find yourself walking down the colorful aisles of the diabetic wonderland, even though you didn't ask to come. But you're here now, so why not sample some of the treats? Sure, everything is more expensive than you think it should be. But if a pound of Skittles didn't cost the same amount as 2 months' rent, how else would the candy store owner afford his mega yacht and private jet? But don't get too stressed thinking about cavities. You're here to have fun. So get lost at the chocolate display that is like the entertainment we see on TV. Some dark, some too sugary sweet. Or spend some time picking out an oversized gummy bear, which is like a life partner that you'll enjoy for many years, until you get tired of it one day and throw it away. And in the back of the big candy store we call home is a great wall of assorted jelly beans, which are kinda like the different religions on Earth. You may not care for jelly beans, but around 5.8 billion people do. There are many different flavors to try. You can pop in a very cherry and realize that it's a perfect fit for you. Or you can try the popcorn flavor, not like the taste, and decide to crusade anyone who does. Unfortunately, the candy store has a very violent past when it comes to the different flavors of jelly beans. In fact, 121 wars have been fought over jelly bean preferences, which would make one think that the battle of bean supremacy would be a leading cause of fear, anger, and sadness in global populations. However, the opposite appears to be true. Though religion has been used as a means to justify war and genocides, the overall perception of religion is still considered to be a positive one. While the merits of religious beliefs towards an individual's well-being have been debated for centuries, a 2019 global survey conducted by the Pew Research Center found that people who are active in religious congregations tend to be happier and more civically engaged than either religiously unaffiliated adults or inactive members of religious groups. Does religion make people happy? Do gods, or spaghetti monsters bless their followers with the gift of joy? Or is there another, greater cause behind this all? To address these questions, let's do what clowns do on their first day of school and learn about happiness, what it can do, and how not to terrify small children along the way. Happiness is an emotion. Let me try that again. This one's for all you sociopaths out there. Don't feel bad that you can't feel them, because there are different theories on what exactly emotions are and why we experience them. Examining a contemporary consensus, the American Psychological Association defines emotions as a complex reaction pattern involving experiential, behavioral, and physiological elements. Individuals use emotions to deal with situations they find personally significant, and these experiences have 3 components: a subjective experience, a physiological response, and a behavioral or expressive response. The 4 primary emotions are considered to be aggression, fear, sadness, and happiness. While 3 of the 4 primary emotions are perceived as negative, it is our desire to avoid this negativity that generates positive influences for our survival. For instance, if one of your clown classmates won't stop smiling and passes you a note saying, "I'll see you in your dreams tonight," your emotional response of fear will help dictate your behavior in locking all of your doors before you go to sleep. Having and expressing emotions also regulate both your physical and mental health. While negative emotions can positively influence one's behavior, the most positive emotion of them all is not just for pure pleasure, because happiness is seen as having lasting effects towards an individual and a community's well-being. Happiness leads to a wide range of benefits like performance, health, and relationships. Schools that focus on students' emotional well-being experience significant gains in academic achievement and behavior, and individuals who are happier are more likely to contribute through society by voting, volunteer work, and participation in public activities. Doctors have been found to make faster and more accurate diagnoses when reported as happy, even if simply induced by a small gift like a cupcake. So remember, next time Grandma gets sick, it's time to bust out those cookie sheets to save Gram's life. Even though we know happiness is good for communities and we enjoy how it makes us feel, what exactly is happiness? Happiness can be a lot of different things to a lot of people. To Aristotle, happiness is the meaning and the purpose of life. the whole aim and end of human existence. To biochemist turned Buddhist monk Mathieu Richard, happiness is a deep sense of flourishing, not a mere pleasurable feeling or fleeting emotion, but an optimal state of being. And to the almighty Merriam-Webster's dictionary, happiness is a state of well-being and contentment, which is the release of a chemical cocktail in your brain mixed with dopamine and oxytocin. But definitions of happiness only go so far to explain the state of mind, as happiness can come in vastly different forms based on the individual. For someone stranded on a deserted island, finding a bag of food is happiness. For someone else, happiness is spending hours on YouTube watching videos of kids falling down. Both are equal in the law of bliss. A 2017 paper published in the Journal of Experimental Psychology analyzing the secret to happiness found that across cultures, happier people were those who more often experienced emotions they wanted to experience, whether these were pleasant or unpleasant. Whether it be extremes like love or hatred, the findings suggested that happiness involved experiencing emotions that feel right, more so than feeling good or not. If happiness comes from experiencing emotions that feel right, it would make sense that religion provides reassurance for one's understanding and purpose in life, thus securing the individual's happiness. Even in dire conditions, research has found that the connection between religious faith and happiness is strongest in people living in fear, poverty, and hunger. However, it might not be religion or religious beliefs alone that cause innate happiness, but instead, the social and communal experiences deeply tied with religion may be the driving force. In a survey conducted in 2006 and 2007, researchers found that 33% of those who attended religious services every week and reported having close friends in the church said that they were satisfied with their lives, while only 19% of those who went to church but had no close connections in the congregation reported the same satisfaction. The word religion derives from the Latin term religio, which means to bind together, which can be seen through the relationships in congregations, family bonds, and beliefs in ancestral connections. These shared beliefs may also impact one's certainty in their emotional experiences, as the traditions of religion and the communities that enforce them relieve the burden of an abundance of possibilities. Primatologist Franz de Waal believes that the phenomenon between religion and happiness can be traced back to the gratitude for meal sharing. In his book, The Bonobo and the Atheist, Waal claims that if all societies have religion, it must serve a social purpose. Waal claims that this can be for a functional or adaptational purpose, as religion brings positive evolutionary benefits for its contribution to a living group. Or religious beliefs could be an evolutionary byproduct of the evolutionary process, as a result of psychological mechanisms that adapted to solve ecological problems unrelated to religion. Waal's first theory is supported by sociologist Jonathan Turner's belief that the common perception of intelligence does not explain how Darwinian selection works on the neuroanatomy of great apes becoming social to the extent of sharing their food and creating bonds to form primary groups. But it was instead their capacity to experience a broader range of emotions that promoted bonding, which became a crucial achievement in developing religion. According to Turner, 4.5 million years ago, when our early ancestors first emerged, our ape brains began to combine two or more primary emotions, such as simultaneous anger and fear, creating jealousy. Traits of our emotional response to religious beliefs and its themes are heavily found in these combinations, such as fear and happiness establishing awe, while guilt and shame stemming from sadness, anger, and fear. In his theories, Waal suggests that sadness and happiness influenced our potential to empathize, which set the stage for our morality and our ability to come together and live under an emotional code. So does religion make people happy? Or does happiness make people religious? Either way, I think we can all agree that regardless of what jelly bean is your favorite, the candy store has enough room for us all. Except the clown. Clown's gotta go.